the Big 2 Local Weather Authority forecast. We warn you first with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
Good morning, everybody. We've got those clear skies overhead here in West Texas right now, especially in Odessa, Midland. Kind of difficult to see any stars. It is pretty dark, but at the same time, we do have those clear conditions, and that's led our temperatures this morning to really drop off to begin the day. Thanks to the West Texas State Bank Weather Cam, we've got a good look at those clear and calm conditions, especially no traffic going on at all. It's almost like it's Christmas Eve or something. Anyway, temperatures a little cooler than what we saw yesterday morning, down 2 degrees for Odessa, Midland, and Big Spring, down 2 for Snyder as well. So here across the basin, we are slightly cooler, but notice Dryden dropping down 16 degrees over this time yesterday, a big drop in temperature. Now, that puts us squarely in the 30s across most of the basin, 35 for Odessa, Midland, 32 for Seminole, and 28 for Hobbs. Now, keep in mind, the freezing line is 32 degrees like we have in Seminole and Wink, so anything at 32 or below is cold enough to freeze over any water. Now, we haven't seen any rain in the past couple of days, so I don't expect ice to be a widespread concern, but you may run into a couple of patches of ice, especially in residential neighborhoods if sprinklers or something like that were turned on overnight. So be careful. Just look out for that if you're driving around. But other than that, we're not looking at any fog. We're not looking at any kind of hazardous conditions or anything like that. And in fact, we've got a nice afternoon coming our way today. 32 degrees was our low yesterday morning. This morning, we're picking up a little bit as far as our lows, but our highs came through at 53 degrees. Now, for our afternoon highs today, we're actually picking all the way up to 64 degrees, a very warm, sunshiny, almost spring-like kind of day. 57 is the average for this time of year, so we're coming in way above that normal for this time of year. Now, a big reason for that big jump in temperature is actually because we're drying out a little bit. Humidity across the basin, a little bit above average, not too bad. We're not seeing enough humidity to cause fog, so we're not looking at any of those hazardous driving conditions. But as we get to this afternoon, notice 15% for Marfa, 17 for Alpine, 19 for Presidio. Anytime we see humidity numbers dropping down into the teens, that indicates some very dry conditions that can work to dry out any brush. So that makes flames a little bit able to spread a little bit more quickly. So be careful with any of those flames, sparks, cigarette butts, things like that. But thankfully, we're not looking at too much in the way of fire weather concerns. It's just that we've got some dry conditions for Marfa, Alpine, Presidio, so be careful with that. Across the basin, we're doing okay. Humidity a little bit above average right now, and we'll stay right about average for this afternoon. Wind speeds pretty modest, 5-10 miles per hour, so that's not going to help to blow those flames around or anything like that. It's just better safe than sorry. 64 degrees will be our high by this afternoon. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover coming through in the overnight hours. That'll keep our temperatures tomorrow morning a little warmer than what we have for this morning. That's always a welcome change. But when we do get to this afternoon, or as we do get to this afternoon, notice we'll get some gap winds developing in those same dry places, but much earlier than that 4 p.m. mark where we saw those numbers dropping down into the teens. So that's good news too. Again, we're not looking at any fire weather danger or concerns or anything, but again, better safe than sorry. 15-mile-per-hour wind speeds thereabouts for most of the basin just before noon, but as we get to the afternoon time, those numbers drop down into the single digits, so a fairly calm, very nice day. Just look out for those sparks if you're outdoors grilling or anything like that. Now, as far as the rest of the week goes, 64 are high today, but 65 for tomorrow, so we're warming up a tiny bit afternoon to afternoon, but our lows tomorrow morning are going to be much warmer than what we're seeing this morning. 41 degrees will be the low to begin our Christmas day, and Wednesday morning, only dropping down to 49 degrees, so fairly warm morning there. And we've also got a 40% chance to see some rain on Wednesday, some of which could be widespread. We'll be dealing with a lot of moisture, so we may be looking at some flooding concerns in the middle of the week, the day after Christmas. So just be aware of that. Be careful if you got to return to work the very next day. Give yourself a little extra time, and of course, I'll keep you posted on anything I learn about that forecast.
I just think it's crazy how much you'll see the temperature drop, even in some of the parts of the Trans-Pecos.
Yeah.
Like 18 degrees, 20 degrees, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Dryden dropping down a big bit. But
I guess that's what happens during wintertime, right?
That's it should.
All right, thanks, Chase. Let's see what's going on in some entertainment news.